Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard Tactics video. Today we'll be revisiting an old subject from 7th edition. You see, back in 7th edition when formations were abound and it was possible to mash different armies together via formations and the Allies matrix, I put forward the theory that the Predator tank should be replacing the Leman Russ battle tank as the main fighting vehicle of the Imperial Guard. A lot of you came back with some good counter arguments saying, well, the armor 14 of the Russ is not to be underestimated. The fact that the Russ can move and shoot without penalty is, great. A lot of really good points. But now 8th edition is here, and I don't think those points are as relevant anymore. For example, moving and shooting. Well, it's only the Leman Russ's main cannon which now isn't affected, so they're pretty much on the same playing field there. If a Predator moves, it hits on a 4+ with everything. If a Leman Russ moves, it hits on a 4+ with the turret, but then a 5+ with all its other weapons. The fact that the armor value system has gone now, we've got toughness instead. There isn't a huge difference between toughness and, toughness 7 and toughness 8. I mean, really, there isn't. Dedicated anti-tank weapons such as las cannons don't care if you're toughness 7 or toughness 8. The only sort of long-range dedicated anti-tank weapon that will be sort of threatening, the Predator if it was part of a guard army would be, that would care about the difference between toughness 7 and toughness 8 would be the missile launcher, because the missile launcher is strength 8, so it wounds Leman Russes on 4s, but it wounds Predators on 3s. So long-range anti-tank, classic las cannons, missile launchers. Las cannons don't care, and a lot of people online are already saying missile launchers aren't worth it, so you're unlikely to come across those. So again, that argument doesn't seem to matter anymore, the fact that they're not that much difference in toughness. They've both got a 3+ save. The Leman Russ has 12 wounds, and I believe the Predator has 11 wounds. It might have 10. It's not a huge amount less. Considering that when I use Leman Russes, I have to admit they don't tend to move very much. They tend to sit back and gun and gun and gun, and maybe in the last turn or two, if they need to, they will move forward and claim an objective. But generally speaking, that comes down to the infantry. So, taking it as both tanks standing still, I just think the Predator massively outperforms the Leman Russ battle tank. I mean, I think most Guard players know now that Leman Russes are feeling kind of lackluster. The Predator's going to be hitting on a 3+. It's got all those las cannons, all those D6 damage weapons. I mean, Leman Russ doesn't have much that can compete with that. On a long-range scale, we're looking at the battle cannon or the Vanquisher cannon. And I just honestly don't think that either of those have really got the potential of, 4 las cannons on a Predator. A big thing that draws me in, though, is the price. Okay. A Predator with 4 las cannons comes in at 202 points. A Leman Russ with a battle cannon, and that's what, if we're going for anti-tank, a battle cannon and a couple of multi-melters and a las cannon. I mean, the Leman Russ itself, basic, is 132 points. The battle cannon's 22, so we're looking at 154 points. Then we've got a las cannon, which is 20 points, I believe. I'll just double check. Where is it? Las cannon, 20 points. So that was 154, 174. Then 2 multi-melters, which are 20 points each. So we've got 132 plus 22 plus 60. So we've got 132, 192, 114, I want to say 114, roughly. 20, up on 12, yeah, 214. So the Predator is cheaper than Leman Russ. Hopefully my maths hasn't just let me down. But basically, if we're going to, roughly do it, both of about 200 points, except for, for the anti-tank configuration. Yet the Predator all its weapons are 48-inch range, which is the most you ever need. You never really need 72-inch range of the battle cannon. Sometimes you do, but mostly you don't. That all the weapons are superior, pretty much against long range penetration, armor penetration. The las cannons are strength 9, whereas the battle cannon and multi-melters are only strength 8. Battle cannons are only AP -2. The multi-melters might be AP -4, but we both know there isn't a huge difference between AP -4 and AP -3. Not a huge difference. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't really look like there's any reason to really take Leman Russes anymore. And the great thing is, now with the way that the system works, where it's all about keywords, there's nothing stopping you from taking Predator tanks in your Imperial Guard army. And them just being Imperial Guard, well, in inverted commas, Imperial Guard Predators. They're going to have the space. That's the thing, they're not going to have they're going to have the space for a keyword, but in terms of faction keyword for you linking the whole army together, they're going to have the Imperium keyword. So there's nothing stopping you from just saying, these are Imperial Guard Predators. They're not going to have the Imperial Guard keyword, but we're talking from a fluff perspective. The fluff behind your army might be that, your armored division of your army uses Predators instead. And they've got advanced targeting systems, and that's why they hit on 3s. Your army might come from a particularly, a Forge World that specializes in building Predators. So you've got the Imperial Guard units, and then you've got the Predators that are manned by Imperial Guard. It can be justified fluff-wise, no trouble. And justified game-wise, no trouble as well. The only contender, really, is the tank commander. If you take a Leman Russ tank commander, but then what you're doing is you're going to, for the same configuration, you've got to pile on another 40 points. So you're looking at an almost 250 point tank for the Imperial Guard, just that you're hitting on 3s. What's the point? If when I think about it, guys, and I'm absolutely honest, let's break this down and summarize it and close this video off pretty quickly. Why does the basic Leman Russ suck? Because it only has a ballistic skill 4+. Why do we take tank commanders over the basic Leman Russ? Because the tank commander has ballistic skill 3+. That's the key. So if we're taking tank commanders for the 3+ ballistic skill, but we're paying through the nose for them, and there's another tank out there which also hits on a 3+ that we can take, why wouldn't we take it? If we compare the Leman Russ tank commander to the Predator, essentially what you're paying for is you're paying 50 points more to take a Leman Russ tank commander for +1 wound and +1 toughness. Honestly, that doesn't seem like a great deal. Now, some of you will be there saying to yourselves, what about the classic Leman Russ setup that you've been talking about, Mordy and Glory? What about the battle cannon, heavy bolter setup? Okay, that's not an issue. Why don't we compare that to the las cannon heavy bolter Predator? Predator with las cannon, 152 with twin las cannon, 152 points, plus 2 heavy bolters, another 20 points, 172 points. Still 50 points cheaper. Leman Russ tank commander with battle cannon, 2 heavy bolters, and a las cannon comes to 225 points. Now, now some of you will pick up on something I said there. Yes, the Leman Russ has one more gun than the Predator. The Leman Russ has, the top mounted gun plus a hull weapon plus 2 side mounted guns. The Predator only has, well, you think it's only got 3 weapons, but when you think about it, it's got a twin las cannon, which now basically counts as having 2 las cannons. So really the Predator's got 4 las cannons and the Leman Russ has got 4 weapons. So that argument doesn't even hold up. Now, the last thing I want to say, so let's assume, so we know that the Predator is now a better anti-tank vehicle. It's slightly less tough, but hopefully, which is the one army that can protect the Predator from long-range firepower? Oh yeah, the Imperial Guard. you know, with our waves of conscripts storming the enemy front lines, forcing them to deal with that. We covered that in a previous video. You know, they're forcing the enemy to deal with the conscripts while the predators sit back and blast the shit out of them. I'm seriously considering, because I've got Black Templars, right? I'm seriously considering buying, you know, maybe not all in one go, but buying 2 or 3 predators. I can use them as Templars, I can use them as Guard. You know? Just seems like it, you know, it just seems to obviously be the correct choice to take the Predator. Anyway, last thing I want to say is talk about, very quickly, the difference between the Leman Russ Exterminator and the Predator Annihilator, which I believe is the autocannon one. If I've got the Annihilation Destructor mixed up, guys, I apologise. But the autocannon Predator, well, the internet already knows this. The autocannon Predator is now better. The Predator autocannon is now better than the Exterminator autocannon. The Exterminator autocannon is 4 shots. Strength 7, AP -1, damage 2. That's it. The Predator autocannon is 2d3 shots. So, on average, that is 4. Okay. Then, it's Strength 7, AP -1. Same as the Exterminator. But the real kick in the teeth for the Leman Russ is the fact that the Predator autocannon does 3 damage. That's right, folks. Go and look it up. A Predator autocannon does 3 damage. So again, what is the point in taking the basic Leman Russ? Predator autocannons aren't even that expensive. I'm going to find the points for you now, but like, Dakar Preds are not an expensive investment. And they're actually really good. I would argue that Dakar Preds are actually better than, actually one of the best mainline tanks out there. I'm struggling to see that. It looks like on my computer that the Dakar Predator autocannon is 50 points, which fits into my memory. So if you are to take a Dakar Predator, guys, then it's 102 points plus 49 points. That's 151 points plus 2 heavy bolters. That comes to 171 points. But a Leman Russ tank with triple heavy bolter and an Exterminator autocannon is 132 points plus 25 points. So that's 147 points. Plus 3 heavy bolters, which are the 24 points. 171 points. Exactly the same cost. Exactly the same cost. The one advantage the Leman Russ has is it's got an extra heavy bolter. But guess what? If that Predator, for its random shots, rolls double 5 or 6, that's 6 autocannon shots. That outdoes that extra heavy bolter, considering they're doing 3 damage each. So, guys, I think that the sun has set over the Leman Russ. If you want to be a pure Guard commander, then by all means continue to use the Leman Russ, and by all means I recommend you upgrade to tank commanders. But if we're looking from a competitive standpoint, if we're looking at replacing, wanting to get the most bang for our buck, squeezing every point like good commanders we should be doing, I need you guys to come and put in the comments some compelling arguments not to take the Predator. Okay? Things that jump to mind, things like tank orders and maybe Harker and stuff like that, they jump to mind. But side by side, there is very little reason to take a Leman Russ over a tank commander. Sorry. Well, there's very little reason to take a Leman Russ over a tank commander, and there's very little reason to take a Leman Russ over a Predator. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.